This is Kathy from Gadgets Top 321, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the PenBBS 494. Now, I was watching Michael Lampert from the YouTube channel Mick L. I was watching him review this pen recently, and this is normally a pen that I would not give a second look, but he mentioned that this pen had a lot in common with the Pilot 78G, and I knew I had to give it a try. So I'm going to get this open, and then we'll see if this pen is worth the $13 that I paid for it. Okay. Now, this was a very inexpensive pen. I paid $13 for it on Amazon, and I received it in less than 2 days. I looked at it first on eBay, which is where I usually get, or just where I got all of my Pilot 78Gs, and it was only going to be $5. Free shipping. But from China, I knew it would there would be some uncertainty with how long it would take to get here. So I went ahead and, $13, I went with the Amazon. The packaging is inexpensive and simple, but nice. Just a little thin sleeve, and it's got the PenBBS little sticker that you see on all of their pens. Now, this is not what you think. When I think of PenBBS, I think of beautiful resins, and this is an injection molded plastic pen like the 78G. The little tray, the nice neat little tray that it came in, is just like a heavy cardstock. It's in a little cellophane wrapper, and it feels a lot. Weight-wise, it feels a lot like the 78G. The 78G comes with a converter, and this is a piston filler. Now, the only other piston filler I have is my TWSBI Mini. I don't have any eyedropper fill pens. I tried one once and it leaked, and I've just never been interested in eyedroppers or piston fillers. Now, the TWSBI Mini has a nice thick walled plastic. It feels nice and secure. One of the things that kind of concerns me about piston fillers and eyedropper fillers is you don't have that buffer between the ink and the outside. If something cracks or something goes wrong, you've got ink all over the place. So that is a downside. Let me see, my little piston knob is wiggling a little bit, but I think, yeah, even the TWSBI, once you loosen it up, it wiggles around a little bit before you engage the piston. Let's see. I like this little simple, inexpensive, folded metal clip. I like the look of it. In fact, I like it better than the Pilot. The Pilot's perfectly fine. I like the shape of this one. I like the silver trim on this better than the 78G. That's an upside. Let's see. To open the cap. Oh, it's on there tight. Oh, it's got a little, yeah, the O-ring. They mentioned that in the videos that I watched. After I watched Michael's video, I went and watched one by Chris Rapp, of course. I knew he would have one with it being PenBBS. And Alan from What I Ink also did a video, and they mentioned, yeah, I like that that O-ring there. It helps keep the cap secure. One issue I have with my 78Gs that I have to keep an eye on is, the cap will come loose somewhat easily, and even something I have even more trouble with is, the section wanting to come unscrewed. With it being, kind of a lightweight plastic, I don't really want to crank it down too hard. I don't want it to crack. So, you got to keep an eye out. You've got to tighten it down tight enough that it does stay on. But I like, actually, this plastic might feel a little heavier than the 78G. Okay, let me see how many turns that took. I wasn't paying attention. 1, 2, 2 3/4. Yeah, that's one of the things the other reviewers mentioned. And the threads are pretty wide, but once that O-ring engages, you know, it makes it pretty smooth. It doesn't rattle around. Okay. One of the things I liked is the little simple design on the nib. It's a clean look. Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it says marshmallow and Shanghai, and then I like the little design in the middle. And it looks like it's going to be interchangeable with my Pilot stainless steel nibs. I'm going to try that real quick because it's got the little notch on bottom like the Pilot nibs have. Now, if I can pull this out. Yeah, this doesn't unscrew here. I may have to do this at a later date off camera because I don't want to damage anything. Usually with my Pilot pins, they're in there really tight at first and I have to twist it as I'm pulling it out to kind of break the friction, but this seems to be stuck in there even tighter. All right, let's check the piston. Oh, I like that. That's a nice little safety feature. It clicks into place so that you don't accidentally twist it and engage it and shoot ink out. And the operation is really smooth. I can see a little silicone grease in there between the two little, I don't know what you would call, I guess 2 pistons really. Nice. Yeah, that operation's really smooth. Then it clicks into place. I like that. But now with the TWSBI, you know, it's a little wiggly, but you can tighten it down and it won't wiggle. With this one, you can't tighten it down. It's still wiggly. I'm not crazy about that. It feels like, gives it a lower quality feel, but the rest of the pen feels okay so far. I'm going to fill this up with some Sukiyo. I'm going to do it off camera because I don't want to make a mess. Okay, I got it inked up with 2 operations of the piston. It got filled pretty full. There's just a little air gap up there. This is going to be a lot of ink to go through in a fine nib like this. I'm curious to see if it writes like a Pilot fine nib. I find the Pilot fine nibs to be pretty well tuned. They write kind of dry, but it's not very noticeable. Even though the Pilot stainless steel fine nibs are very fine, I find that they write really smooth. And yeah, the cat posts very deeply. I like to post my pens. And one of the things they mentioned is that the section is very narrow, and it is. It feels more narrow. Oh, yeah. It feels more narrow than the 78G because it has cutouts on these 2 sides. The cutouts are very Oh, it has cutouts on the two sides here. Even though the cutouts are very subtle, and it's hard to notice them even when you're feeling for them, since the section is so narrow to begin with, it really makes it even more narrow. So that is a downside. I wish they wouldn't have done that. Ooh, I like this. Very smooth. It feels like it might be in between a Pilot Fine nib and a Pilot Medium. I like it. It's very smooth. And it pairs nicely with this ink. And it's pretty dry, but it doesn't feel dry. It does, I mean, it's not scratchy, it's not rough, it's not even feedbacky, but it's not like glassy smooth. You can feel there's drag on the paper, friction, like the difference between using a plastic stylus on a glass screen or a rubber tipped stylus. But I do like it. This, kind of like I've mentioned with the 78Gs before, this is probably a good pen to use on poor quality paper, and even more so since the tip is a little bit wider. I kind of like it. Now I just have to get this nib out and see if it is an exact match of a Pilot stainless steel nib. I'll be able to interchange it with my Prera, my Pluminix, or a Plumix if you have the full-size one, the Metropolitan, all of my 78Gs, except the 78Gs have a gold nib. That probably wouldn't look that great on this pen, but just really, I'm probably only going to be using it around the house. This isn't a pen that I would feel comfortable just throwing in my purse. Like I said, if it develops a crack or something, a leak somewhere, there's not a buffer between that ink chamber and an ink disaster. But for $5, or even, I paid $13 for it, I think this pen is a bargain. Now, I'm going to have to use it a little more long term and see how durable it is. It's less expensive than a 78G. My 78Gs, I got them all on eBay. They had to be shipped from China or Hong Kong or, various places. And for each of these, I paid anywhere from $18 to $22. And this is $13 at the most. If you've got patience, as little as $5 shipped from China. All right. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.